So I got a dream that I'm gonna be at the top of the scene. On every screen, making my presence something to be seen, yeah. I'll make them all see that I could be anything I wanna be. If you got a dream, then you need persistence and lots of belief, yeah. Yo, don't take that negative energy, I replace that. I just wanna be me, I don't fake that. I just wanna be free, yeah, chase that. I got a new obsession, it's helping and teaching and giving everyone a lesson. It's living and winning and building something that's impressive. I don't wanna do the same thing, I wanna be progressive, so I'ma make a new me, a new beast, a true fiend. He's everything that he wants to be. Look in the mirror, what he wants to see is a dude looking back at me. I stay on track, yeah, track things. I'm setting goals, life hacking. I'm steady stacking. I see myself being happy. A better me with a strategy that I'm attacking.
Put to the test and you know I'll ace that. Hit me in the face and I'm hitting right back. I enjoy the chase so I'll stay on track, yeah. I enjoy the race so I'll make that bag. Got a lot of dreams that I'll make come true. Got a lot of things that I wanna do. Got a lot of goals that I wanna prove. And there's not a lot of time so I gotta make moves.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Fly Like an Eagle podcast, episode 13. I'm with the legend, Phil Stiefel from Trending AM. How you doing, bro?
Don't make me laugh so quickly, legend. What the hell you talking about? I ain't no legend. I'm just an average Joe just like you, Mitch. Grinding away, talking sports, talking Eagles on a daily basis, my man.
Hey, I feel ya, I hear ya, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. You just told me your story about the show, and it's just like, it's inspiring, even though it started off as a joke.
It really did start. Actually, you know, the part of the story I didn't tell you was that I don't even know how I got into content creation. Okay.
Oh.
So New Year's Eve, 2019 to 2020, like, so December 31st, 2019 to 2020, I sat on a balcony in a hotel room with my sister and we drank an entire bottle of vodka. The next day I applied to like 3 websites to write. I don't know what we talked about that night, but all I know, whatever we talked about, I started writing, and then 2 months later I started podcasting.
All right. That
I
ever
don't know.
works. It's crazy, but for me, it's actually with the pandemic, right? With the
Yeah.
pandemic, before I was doing like movie reviews, video game reviews,
Right.
all that stuff. I'd take my break, pandemic hits, then I'd see Run It Back Philly, I see RB, and I see you on Twitter, and I'm just like, you know what? I need to get back at it. And that's what happened. After the pandemic, or during the pandemic rather, I started up, and now I'm here. It's kind of crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're here. And my guy Spongy, a loyal supporter of mine, I met him on Fall Guys, playing Fall Guys. So it's just like a video game, bro. Go Birds. Yep. What is up, Adam? Good evening, guys, and welcome, Mr. Phil.
Yeah.
It is up. My guy Daniel. Daniel's been everywhere. I don't know. You probably seen him everywhere. Al on Twitter, Delco legend.
Yeah, we both went to Holy Cross. I went to elementary school with his sister, so you know we got.
Oh wow.
Me and Big Al are from the same neighborhood. You know what I mean? You know, in Delco, it's not where you're from; it's what parish did you go to. You know, so that's what
Right.
we say back there. You know, we're both Holy Cross.
My guy Taco's in the building. What is good? What is good? Phil the Lennox of Kenneth Square Fox Pizza Den. Hey, if you want to promote your pizza shop, go for it, man.
Hey, I always got a menu sitting right here just for that thing. Fox's Pizza, Kennett Square. Adam's one of my customers and good friends, my man. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Daniel again. Chad, what is up? What is up, my guy? What is up, everybody in the chat? We got a lot of people in this crowd here. Yep. Oh, Doyle Rules. Yep. I love that movie. Doyle Rules. Yep. Very impressive beard.
It's been better.
Eh?
You know, it's been better.
All right. I was right for the halftime, so yeah. All right, let's just get right into the Eagles, man, and that is Vic Fangio. It's a new defensive coordinator. I did not watch the whole show because I wanted to hear your thoughts on this show. So give me your thoughts, man.
All right, so Vic Fangio. First, before I even say my opinion on whether he's a good candidate or a good hire or not, it drove me completely nuts when he was hired because all the fans wanted was this blitz happy Jim Johnson, old school, you know, type of defensive coordinator. And they go out and they hire the guy that designed the scheme that we all hated.
Right.
And all of a sudden, everybody loves it. So I was like, yo, Eagles Nation, make up your mind on what you want. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that drove me a little nuts. You know what I mean? How quickly they flipped the switch on, their thoughts on what they wanted as a defensive coordinator. So that, I mean, if anybody did not like what Sean Desai did, I mean, they're gonna hate Vic Fangio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's the inventor of it. You know what I mean? He's the one that came up with, the soft zone defense, the sticks defense, the only rush four guys, don't blitz a lot. But, but Vic Fangio is an excellent defensive coordinator. He knows what he's doing. He gets the most out of his players. He's disciplined. He makes his guys work hard, study hard, and he holds people accountable. All things that we lacked on defense. I mean, just basic tackling techniques. He is going to make these guys tackle. James Bradbury has no place on this defense if he's not going to want to, tackle. You know what I mean? So like Vic Fangio is going to give us what we want: discipline, attitude, and whatnot. He's just going to be a little conservative, like, bend don't break, like we all hate so much.
Exactly. But the thing with Vic Fangio for me, is he gonna stand up to like Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie? Like, is he gonna be the guy be like, don't bother me, I got my own stuff, let me do that? Is he gonna step up to Howie Roseman and Lurie?
I don't know if he'll stand up to him, so to speak, but I think they wanted him for so long that they trust and respect and love his style. Anybody that's hired as defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator was going to have only accept the job if Howie Roseman was understanding. Like Vic Fangio, yo, you want to come to Philly? Vic Fangio will be like, Howie, are you going to give me what I need to succeed? I'm not a first time coordinator. I'm not this guy that's getting a major promotion. I need X, Y, and Z to be successful. Will you give me that? So the hiring of Vic Fangio tells me that Howie Roseman knows that he's got to work on a linear level with his coordinators a little bit better than he has in the past. It's not just Howie Roseman, what he says, and that's it. That Vic Fangio wouldn't come here if that was the case. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to expect the two of them to be on the same page.
Right, right. And his family's in PA, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main reason he's here. He wants to be
But
close to his
does it
family.
concern you? Does it concern you about his age? I mean, he'll be 66 when the season starts. And in my opinion, I've been talking about it for a few weeks now. Coaching in general, offensive, defensive, head coach, it's a young man's game. And if you see
Mhm.
it, you see a lot of old time coaches starting to hang it up or get relieved of their duties or whatnot. You know, it rubs me the wrong way the way he left Miami, so
Yeah.
quickly. And
Mhm.
it's a young man's game, not an old man's
Yeah.
game. So there
True.
are concerns, in my opinion, about Vic Fangio. But I think of all the coordinators that were interviewed, I'll take him over Ron Rivera. I'll take him over any of the guys that they've already spoken to or we've heard rumors about. So I think it's a winning decision, but there'll be question marks at it.
Yeah, and look at you talk about his age, right? Look at Bill Belichick. He just got passed up by the Falcons. So it's just like Bill Belichick might be the one hanging up now. So
Bill
you bring up
Belichick,
a good point about
Carroll
the
has not
age.
gotten any interviews.
No?
A lot of these old timers, they get moved on from. So I don't know. It's just one random thought that keeps sticking out into my head a little bit. But I also do not like how he handled the situation, Miami just leaving. And then there was the reports from Drew Rosenhaus today that a bunch of the players in Miami were not fans of Vic Fangio because of his way, because he holds people accountable and whatnot. Comes to Philly with James Bradbury, technically, because he's still here, Darius Slay, guys that aren't used to being held accountable. How are they going to react to Vic Fangio coming in there and putting his foot down? So it's a question. It's a concern,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And also he runs a 3-4. We're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4. How do you feel about that though?
Well, first and foremost, Jordan Davis. When he got drafted, I'm like, that's Vince Wilfork Jr. right there.
Mhm.
Wilfork was best in a 3-4 as the nose tackle. I think Jordan Davis will thrive massively in a 3-4 if that's what they do. Howie Roseman, again, hiring Vic Fangio, if he really wants to go to a 3-4, better be on the same page with Howie Roseman because you need linebackers and we
Yeah.
don't have any linebackers. You know what I mean? So there better be some communication, and you need a really strong back end safety. So Vic Fangio and Howie Roseman have to sit down before the draft, before free agency, and look, we got to adjust here, we got to tweak there, we got to bring in these types of players, or it'll fail. We've seen it before in the NFL where a team tries to switch and it blows up. I think it happened in Philly not too long ago that they tried it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you have to have the right personnel. And that was my key with all the coordinators that the Eagles hired or position coaches. Will the personnel that we have or that Howie brings in fit what the coordinator wants to do? So Vic Fangio and Howie better be on the same page. Otherwise, we're going to have some problems again next year with it.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to those problems at all. I am not. So, Adam says they wanted Vic Fangio before Sean to sign, but Gannon messed it up by not announcing he was leaving. That's a great
Yeah.
point as well.
Yeah, but still, I get all that, but like, did he still left Miami high and dry like so quickly? You know what I mean? Just to come here, you know, it's one of those. It's like somebody made a joke on the morning show today or yesterday. Like, what if he Frank Gored us and changed his mind? He already changed his mind on Miami. What if he changes his mind on us? You know what I mean? So it worries me a little bit. I just don't know if I trust Howie to do what it takes to give Vic Fangio the tools to be successful. You know,
Mhm.
I love Howie, but he's a stubborn SOB, and he thinks he's the smartest man in every room he enters. So my question will always be, will he give Fangio and whoever they hire on offense the tools to do what they want? Because we can't go another season with a coordinator wanting to run X but having Y personnel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That either Vic Fangio has to change or Howie has to change. And Vic Fangio being 66, he ain't changing. So,
Nah.
you know, something's got to give there.
Yep. I agree with you on that. And Bobby, my guy, bro. My guy, Bobby. Miami's defense players told head coach McDaniels in the exit interviews that they wanted Fangio gone. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was the Drew Rosenhaus report. And I don't know also how much of that I believe. I mean, it was Drew Rosenhaus sticking up for his players that he represents. So, you know, that was what he said on a radio show. But again, it's Drew Rosenhaus, and he's exaggerated the truth before to help his guys make more money and have better careers. So it is what it is. But he is that Vic Fangio, if you're a Flyers fan, is exactly what we thought we were getting with John Tortorella originally. You know, a hard-nosed, tough, disciplined type guy. You know what I mean? So, and Vic Fangio is not a guy you got to worry about getting poached in a year to be a head coach. So, if he does have some longevity in him, he could play out the rest of his career here. He could bring some continuity and some consistency to the defensive room. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And I see the next question on or comment on Jeremiah Trotter.
Yeah.
Before you even talk Jeremiah Trotter, you got to talk about what Howie said about still having major confidence in Nakobe Dean.
Right.
And Vic Fangio has always had one of two things. Either he's had elite linebackers or he's developed linebackers into elite linebackers. Could we see what we hoped for from Nakobe Dean? I hope that Howie brings in some other linebackers. I'm not a college football fan. I don't pretend to know these guys in the draft. I know Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because of the name, and I know
Right.
Eagles fans want him here. But I've had a few people I trust more than my own knowledge, and there are better linebackers in this class than Jeremiah Trotter Jr. supposedly. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Kool-Aid McKinnon.
I've heard that name. I don't even know. See, I don't pretend to know college football. I've heard the name. People have said it before in the comments on my show. I have no idea who he is.
Yeah. He knows all about college football. That's like his number one. He studies college
I'm
football
the
and
complete
everything.
opposite. I wait till 2 weeks before the draft to even start figuring out who these kids are.
Hey, shout out to Edge of Philly Sports with the college football. Dives,
Yeah.
Rhea, all those guys, man. Like,
All those Dives knows more about like Division III, like college football players that are backups than I know about who's going to go number one in the draft. Like those guys know so much stuff right there.
yeah, it's just crazy. And my Michigan Wolverines, Harbaugh gone. So, just like, that still hurts. But speaking of head coaches, though, why is Nick Sirianni the head coach here?
or you listen to my show. I think I said that. I think that was what I kicked off the show with. Why is he still the head coach? I don't know. I mean, he's basically the new Jason Garrett, the clapper. You know what I mean? Like, look, we're stuck with Nick Sirianni. We've got to accept that he's going to be here. He's going to be more like the Dan Campbells, the Mike Tomlins of the world, hands-off guy that works more on culture and making the big-time decisions, like going for it on fourth down, a fake punt here or there, whatever. He's got to be hands-off with the coordinators and let them run their schemes the way they want to. Is that what you want in a head coach, though? I don't know. Do you want a rah-rah cheerleader as your head coach? Dan Campbell is in the championship game like that. You know what I mean? So if you look across the NFL, there's 4 teams remaining. You have the Chiefs and the Ravens. John Harbaugh is a rah-rah cheerleader. Andy Reid's very hands-on. In the NFC, Shanahan is very hands-on. Dan Campbell is the cheerleader. So half the coaches that are still coaching are what Nick Sirianni's going to have to turn himself into. So, he's a nice guy. I hope it works out. He's a great, fine, upstanding Italian American like myself. So, I hope the best for him.
Yeah. I mean, for the Eagles, right, and just Nick Sirianni being the guy, he's being a fan's coach, the way I look at it. You've seen him wear beat downs, you've seen him wear an Iverson jersey and all this stuff. But he got exposed when Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon left. He got exposed. That's pretty much self-explanatory.
Now, here's the question. Did he get exposed, or did he get exposed in picking who to replace them? Like it wasn't that necessarily he got exposed. Brian Johnson got exposed. Sean Desai, Matt Patricia got exposed. Or was it he that got exposed? That's still the question I'm trying to determine. You know what I mean? Was it his fault, or was it the coordinator's fault? And that's why we'll see. That's why I keep saying it. I keep saying it for weeks now. This is the most important offseason for the Eagles in 20, 25 years. It really is. Because if Nick Sirianni's the real root of the problem, you're going to get rid of him at the end of next year. It means you're starting all over again. So there's a lot that's on the line here for Nick Sirianni this offseason.
Yeah, and we got Bobby, even worse. They interviewed Kellen Moore today. We're going to talk about that next. So we're going to talk about that next.
We have to.
It's either Kellen Moore or Kingsbury. Like that's the only, like, I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. Keeping it a buck.
Am I only allowed to choose from those two?
I mean, who else is out there?
I mean, I mean, they've interviewed a lot. I mean, Jared Johnson, quarterback coach at the Houston Texans. I'd like to see him. I like what they've done down there. He's got connections, and I think they've interviewed him. I don't know what Washington's doing with Eric Bieniemy or not. I would be very, very okay with Eric Bieniemy being the guy as well. I actually would probably prefer Cliff Kingsbury over Kellen Moore at this point. Cliff Kingsbury's worked with a lot of great quarterbacks, either when he was a player, early, before he hung it up and started coaching, and in the coaching ranks, he's worked with and around a lot of great quarterbacks. So, Kellen Moore, I just can't get over or past that one play when he was the Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator where they lined up just the center and all the other offensive linemen were spread out like as a wide receiver. I don't know if you remember that play. I think even Ezekiel Elliott lined up as a quarterback in a play like that. Like, I can't get over, like, Kellen Moore overthinks things way too much. Cliff Kingsbury, he's exactly what Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman want in a team. Spread offense, RPOs, shotgun, throw the ball. That's what he's going to do, Cliff Kingsbury. So all the guys they're talking about are all pass happy guys. So, it is the way it is. That's what Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman want.
Yep. And here's the thing, right? With DeAndre Swift, we don't know if he's going to be back. So it's just like, who's the coordinator going to have us run the ball first? I feel like
they don't care.
There's not many out there.
Ball. They don't care because they want to pass the ball. So they're going to go with, Kenny Gainwell. They're going to go with somebody they draft in the 6th round, and they're going to pick up the next Swift or Penny in free agency, a cheap guy on a 1-year deal. Miles Sanders got 4 years, $26 million or whatever it was last offseason. DeAndre Swift's going to get that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
this is his one big, the running back lifespan is 3 years. This is DeAndre Swift's first major free agency. He's going to want to cash in. Howie's not going to pay him. And, good for him. He deserves the right to get paid. We're just not going to be the one to give it to him. So Howie's going to
Yeah.
rotate in some new cheap running back options and, hope that whoever the offensive coordinator is passes the ball, passes the ball, passes the ball. They're already paying A.J. Brown a lot. Devontae Smith is going to get a big pay raise. So they're going to want somebody in here to pass the ball.
Yeah. Now let's go back to Eric Bieniemy because I have his new podcast with the Cowboys content creator called Flying with the Boys, right?
Mhm,
And we were just talking about offensive coordinators, and I brought up Eric Bieniemy because of his creativeness on the field. And
mhm,
he's like, Mitch, how would you feel if your team's a run first, like you said? How would
mhm,
you feel about that? And I'm like, I just want some creativeness. I don't
mhm,
want to see any predictability. So I asked him, uh, can you tell what play we're running? He goes, yeah. That's exactly my point.
mhm,
That's my point right there. Like,
mhm.
I just want a coordinator that's not predictable. I don't want McCaffrey up in the booth with the boat Mannings predicting the play.
Yeah. The one thing I'll
Yeah.
say about Bieniemy is he does pass the ball massively. He's a big passer, obviously. That's the Andy Reid coaching tree. That's the Andy Reid way of doing things. But I'll just say, I mean, I know they didn't have the wide receivers this year, but that Chiefs offense looked a lot weaker or a lot more beatable this year without Eric Bieniemy. And there was a stretch this year that Sam Howell was throwing 400 yards a game with Eric Bieniemy calling the plays. So if anybody's going to maximize this offense under Jalen Hurts, Bieniemy might be the guy. So I'm not against Eric Bieniemy as the head coach of this football or the offensive coordinator of this football team.
I'm not either. I just want someone who's creative, someone who's not predictable with like run, run, bubble
Mhm.
screen, and throw in the play action. I don't want that. Like, come on. It's crazy. And here's Pat Bernard right here, our guy Pat. How's
Hey.
it going, man? Hey, oh God. Now thinking, now thinking if I would love out, and here he is with college football again. You think the Eagles start off slow next year? Then Nick Sirianni could be fired in the middle of the season.
Adam,
Why
that's
not?
a good question.
Why
We're
not
treading
just
into the
fire him
AM
now
moment.
then? Why not
I
just
mean,
fire him now?
I would, yeah. I mean, I was not for firing Nick Sirianni, but I understood the argument that fans were making, and I got it. If you're gonna fire him week 5 next year, you might as well fire him just now. You know what I mean? Like, what's 5 weeks of the season gonna do? You know what I mean? I think if they would fire Nick Sirianni, there's 2 reasons. One, depends on when the bye week falls. The bye
Yep.
week's always a great week. If the bye week's week 5 or something like that, they're probably gonna give him more than that time. If they fire him late in the season, that means it's a total disaster and we're not making the playoffs. So I hope they don't fire him because that means next year is a total dumpster fire and I can't handle it. Although dumpster fires do make better content for us YouTubers, but you know what I mean? Like positivity doesn't sell. I've been trying to be positive on my show all week and my algorithm just dropped off a cliff because I was being positive. Negativity does sell. But I don't think they should. If you're going to start the season with them, you got to give them till at least the end of the year or till you're officially eliminated from the playoffs. If that happens, to fire him.
Yeah. It's just crazy what we're dealing with right now. Mitch the Missile and Phil, aka Round One. Love you, Pat. Love you, man. Hey, fellas, how's it going? Mitch is the best. Shout out to my guy Wesley, man, a huge wrestling fan. He's excited
Royal
for the Royal
Rumble
Rumble.
on Saturday night.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for that. It's gonna.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know who's gonna win on the men's.
Who do you want to win? Not who will win or who should win. Who do you want to win?
Gunther.
Ah, we're on the same page.
Oh, really?
I
Oh,
think
wow. I
Gunther.
thought I was the only one.
No, I think he deserves it. He's fantastic. I love Imperium. They're, in my opinion, Imperium is like the best thing going in wrestling right now, and has been for over a year now. So I love the whole group of them. They could probably transition to face if they wanted to. They could be heels. They could do anything they want. Gunther is one of right now current crop of guys active. In my opinion, one of the top 3 guys that I love. I enjoy watching.
Yep. Yeah. We'll talk about that pretty sure tomorrow on 10 a.m.
Yeah,
But
we will.
I think Sirianni's days are numbered. He'll be lucky to make it through next season.
But I bring it up, and I'll ask you, Mitch. You know, to for them to fire him mid-season, something has to go drastically wrong. Otherwise, they should just like if they're 7-3, say, or 7-4, are they going to fire Nick Sirianni? No, they're going to fire Nick Sirianni if we start like 1-5. So if you think he can actually make this team go 1-5, you might as well just fire him now. Like, what do you think about that? Because, like, what good does firing him mid-season if you're 6-5 really do?
Like for me, honestly, I would fire him before. It would just create more drama, more all this stuff. The player's mental will be down and stuff like that. So why not just get rid of it now? Get the cat out of the bag and just like start fresh. So if
Yeah.
that does happen, who would you want as your head coach?
I don't even know. Like, I convinced myself I don't want him as my head coach, but I convinced myself that if they did fire him, that Bill Belichick could have been a good opportunity, option. I've been saying it right now. This coaching cycle right now had so many great names. You had Harbaugh, you had Belichick, you still have Belichick, you still got Vrabel out there. There were a lot. You had Ben Johnson with the Lions offense coordinator. A lot of great names out there that you could have hired now. See a lot of these guys getting snapped up. You know what I mean? So, next off, you fire them after the season next year because of another collapse or disappointment. There might not be as many great names available next year, next offseason. You're already changing all the coordinators. What? You're not going to change it mid-season and change it again. Just do it now, or just say flat out, I'm committed to Nick Sirianni. He's going to be here next year. And unless something drastic happens, he's going to be here for a long time. I mean, I think Howie Roseman likes having Nick Sirianni here because he says yes to Howie Roseman all the time. So, you know, who's going to want to work under Howie Roseman's thumb?
I don't know. I think we can't do anything with Howard Roseman here. Yes, we have given him credit for like the players he had drafted in the last couple of years, like Devontae Smith, Davis, Carter, but
Yeah.
he really hasn't addressed the secondary. He hasn't addressed the linebackers. And where does this all come from? Howie. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous now. We need a linebacker, and he won't draft one in the first round. We need a running
Not at
back.
all.
He won't draft one in the
Zero
first
chance.
round. It's freaking crazy with this team, man. It's
Yep.
freaking insane. Yeah, but really quick, I know you're a big Eagles fan. I know we're all big Eagles fans here. So if you guys want some tickets, go check out Sherry'sTickets.com.
All right, guys, it's time to talk about Sherry's Tickets. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. Do not pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard to come by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. That's 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, do not overpay and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. Save 10% using the promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. You'll thank us later. Sherry'sTickets.com.
Thank you to Dives for Sherry'sTickets.com. Shout out to Dives, man. But
Dude,
yeah,
like,
let's
"Where's
get right
Dives?"
back.
I'm like, I hear the voice. Like, yo.
Yeah, he does all that for EOP. Shout out to Dives, man. What is up, Prime Time? How's it going, man? How's it going? And my guy Ryan in the building. Vic, Fangio helping on the defensive end evaluating the head coach to develop N'Kobe Dean and Eric Bieniemy, improving more offensive coordinators and run more consistency. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically sums up what we've been saying. Like, N'Kobe Dean, like, the Eagles put all their eggs in the N'Kobe Dean basket this year. Between injuries and when he played, he didn't work out. I don't care whether it's Vic Fangio or the greatest defensive coordinator of all time. Howie Roseman better have a better backup plan to N'Kobe Dean than Nicholas Morrow, Christian Ellis, Zach Cunningham, and everybody else that he rolled out there. Ben Van Summeren. You can't go into the 2024 season assuming N'Kobe Dean can be the guy. I hope he is. I love them coming out of Georgia. I thought he was going to be the real deal this year. He wasn't. And you didn't have a backup plan. So I don't care what Vic Fangio is capable of. If you're not on if you're in the tub, you can't help the club. And N'Kobe Dean spends a lot of time in the tub. So,
Yeah. And he still beat my Michigan those years ago. So it's just like there's that. But yeah, I love Ben Johnson, Bobby. I thought he would be a good choice here, but he went to the Commanders, which was actually a shock. I thought they were gonna have Bieniemy step up. That was me.
Ben Johnson was announced as the Commanders head coach?
Yesterday, I think.
I missed that. I didn't see that.
I think it was like he's in a running for it or something.
Oh,
He's
okay,
like
good.
very close if he didn't get it. But yeah, I think Cunningham was good this year. I definitely want to bring him back. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, man. These linebackers need an overhaul.
Yeah, they do. They need an overhaul. There's a lot of positions on this team that people aren't willing to admit that needs a complete and total overhaul. You know what I mean? Linebacker needs an overhaul. There's no doubt about it. So, it's not even an overhaul. They just need bodies. I mean, Zach Cunningham did okay considering everything. But Zach Cunningham, you can't trust him. Big picture. He was a veteran, like 1 year, prove it kind of guy. Ben Van Summeren, Nicholas Morrow. He had the 3 interceptions or the 3 sacks in the one game. He ain't gonna do. He did nothing the rest of the year.
Nah. And then remember Mile Jack?
Yeah, and he ended up
He
going
retired.
to Pittsburgh.
And then he sunk it up over there.
Exactly. I mean, like, think about it. Like, the options that they made. If you think about it this way, outside of N'Kobe Dean, everybody else that played linebacker this year was either outside of Zach Cunningham and N'Kobe Dean, every other linebacker wasn't on the initial opening 53-man roster this year. They were either late season additions or practice squad call-ups. You can't go that way.
You can't. You really can't. So I got to bring this up, and that was the press conference because to me, honestly, I didn't even watch the whole thing. I watched all the clips on, the internet. So give me your thoughts on this because I took nothing from this. Absolutely nothing.
I said it this morning on Trending in the AM that I watched. Well, I watched the first half of it, then I was at my pizza shop watching it, and then I got busy, so I missed the last 5 or 10 minutes of it. But first off, it started 30 minutes late. That is just stupid. Like, there's no reason for that.
Right.
Secondly, I watch a lot of press conferences of the Eagles on their Twitter page, just because I always got Twitter up as you know me, I'm very active on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I've always got it up, and that's just where my go-to for watching things. And most Eagles press conferences, whether it's an off season, a Tuesday afternoon before a practice, an offensive coordinator, whatever it is that's speaking, whenever there's a meeting, like a press conference with the Eagles, on average, there's anywhere between 8,000 and 12,000 people on Twitter alone watching live. Within the first 3 minutes of the press conference, they barely cracked 3,600 people watching. Why? Because no one cared, because they knew the press conference was going to be totally meaningless. And it was totally meaningless. That's what I take out of it.
I'm right there with you, man, because when I glanced over it on YouTube, it was a circle.
What?
You were muted.
Was I? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good now.
Okay.
You're good now.
It
What were you
makes no
saying?
sense that nobody wanted to listen to it.
It's just like a circle. They were all talking in a complete circle. It's like the same exact things over and over. Howie Roseman threw Nick Sirianni under the bus, and like how Nick Sirianni was saying like he got to attend more defensive meetings and stuff like that. I'm like, no, you don't. Stay far away from that.
There was a point early, like the first 10 minutes of it, 5-10 minutes of it, where the first 3 questions all went to Nick Sirianni, and Howie Roseman could just tell that Nick Sirianni was drowning, like he was just
Yeah.
burying himself. And Howie Roseman's like, "How about I answer the next question, guys?" Like he definitely. I'll give Howie credit, like him, like being like, "Yo, let me take some of this." You know what I mean? At least he saw that his coach was, drowning mercilessly, in the um everybody says, "Well, what did you expect out of the press conference?" Well, what I expected was honesty. Everyone's like, "Well, that's not what you get in a press conference." I'm like, "No, that is what you get." Because if you listen to the same day, earlier in the day, Danny Briere spoke for the Flyers. He was honest, open, and said what he wanted to say and gave us something of substance. Nick Nurse, after every Sixers game, gives you honest answers of what's going on. So all this BS that fans say, well, you never get the real answer out of any coach's press conference. It's a load of BS because the Flyers and Sixers are proving that you could give the fans something of substance in a press conference. And that's what annoyed me the most. If I didn't hear Danny Briere speak earlier in the day, I might not have been as, pissed off about the press conference. But Danny Briere that day, outside of the Carter Hart situation, was very open about the NHL trade deadline, where his team is, what the plan is, big picture going forward. Just give the fans honesty because we know when you're not being honest. And that
Yeah.
press conference was no honesty.
Oh, at all. Like for me, with this press conference, we're probably gonna have another one with Vic Fangio coming up soon. So there's that. But it's just like I didn't care. You know what I was doing? I was just on the phone and just scrolling Twitter the whole time.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. But yeah, I have. Oh my god! I hope the new coordinator doesn't put Reddick in back cover. Right? I was just about to say that.
Well,
Hopefully
Adam,
Fangio doesn't put him in coverage.
all I'm going to say is that the Fangio scheme is what we ran last year. So, they probably will. Look, the 3-4 Reddick is great in a 3-4 because he can just be an outside rushing linebacker, that fourth guy. But Adam, I've said it before and I'll say it again in the morning. I'll say it in the PM here. Reddick might not be on this team next year. It's a
I can see
bold
that.
prediction. He's
I
going
can
into last.
honestly see that.
Hassan Reddick at his age and at his production level is not going to play on a 1-year deal. And that's basically what he is. He's on the last year of his deal. There's a lot of money that needs to get paid. You drafted Nolan Smith to eventually be the replacement of Hassan Reddick. If Howie and him cannot come to terms on something, Howie will not be afraid to trade Hassan Reddick. I'm just saying it's not a popular opinion. It's not one I want to come true. But you might not see him drop into coverage because he might not be on this team next year. Just saying.
Right. Right. You're exactly right. Now, if you gotta go let go of Reddit, what about Josh Sweat then? Because Josh Sweat was basically the same exact thing. No, he wasn't anywhere to be found.
Josh Sweat, I said it like 2-3 weeks left in the season on Drain the AM that maybe we overreacted and overrated Josh Sweat. What was his last sack? Week 6, week 7?
I think it was 7.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't good. He had a really bad year this year, Mitch. Really bad year by his standards. So
Yeah.
maybe you could find money for Hassan Reddick by trading Josh Sweat because Josh Sweat's in year 2, I think he's going to go into of his most recent contract. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe you find
Who
the
knows?
Reddick money by moving on from Sweat. I don't know. I don't know.
Kind of crazy, but it's
It's
something
it's
we're
it's a
gonna look
crazy
into.
thought process that Reddick might not be here after only 2 years. But in my mind, there's a scenario playing out where Hassan Reddick is not an Eagle in 2024.
Hey, it's on Reddick, Sweat. You could say the same thing about Swift. A lot of these players are not going to be back.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of
Well,
the game.
Swift's a free agent. The other guys are under contract. But there's certain types of players that won't play on 1-year deals. They'll hold
Yeah.
out for an extension. Hassan Reddick is one of those. He's already one of the most underpaid edge rushers in football or outside line, whatever you want to call his position. He's, after his first year in Philly, what do you have? 16 and a half, 17 and a half sacks, whatever it was. He was still the 6th highest paid guy in his position, 7th highest paid guy. You know what I mean? Like, he puts out the production, even in a down year, to get top 5 money at that position. And he's not paid that way. So he's going to want that money.
There we go. Find Reddick money and get Trashberry off my team. Hey, same. I don't think Slay will be back.
You'll have Slay or Bradbury back next year. You'll have one of them back. I prefer Slay to be the one that comes back. Slay is still a good cornerback. He's not elite anymore. He's still good. James Bradbury just is scared to tackle somebody. I can't even count how many times he was running away from the ball handler this year and scared to make a tackle. Like, get him out of here. Just go. He would have to be a post June 1st cut so the cap hit isn't big, but I think it's only a $4 million cap hit if you cut him after June 1st or something like that. I'm not a cap expert. I don't pretend to play one or anything like that. But there is money to be saved by cutting him after June 1st. I would bet the mortgage that James Bradbury is not an Eagle in 2024.
Mm-hmm. When is Kelsey going to announce if he's coming back or not? That's all on him. That's all on him. We don't have answers. I wish I did, but
yeah, I have no answer. I have no answer to that one either.
Hey, it was cool what he did for that little girl for Taylor Swift. That was cool. I like that.
Did you see his wife's? Basically the look his wife gave him is basically the look my wife gave me every time we went to a wedding. Now, I never took my shirt off completely, but most weddings, my shirt's off. I'm into my wife beater. I normally put my tie. There's almost every wedding. There's a picture of me with a tie around my head. That look that Kelsey's wife gave him, I've been given plenty of times at weddings.
Right. I like Ringo, Avante. He might be gone. Isaiah Rodgers Sr. and McKinsey. Hey, we have a lot of depth.
Your starting
in the
cornerbacks next year are Isaiah Rodgers, Darius Slay, and Keely Ringo. I think Avante Maddox, they try to find a way to move on from him. He's just, we talk about Nakobe Dean never being healthy. Avante Maddox is never healthy. And I said it before this year that he's never healthy. I said it before last year he's never healthy. But they keep rolling him out there. Eventually they got to move on. Yeah, Isaiah Rodgers is such a clutch, low-risk move that Howie made at the beginning of the year. So I say it's Slay, it's Rodgers, and it's Ringo. Those three with Eli Ricks as your fourth guy. Zach McPherson. Everybody's forgetting about him. He'll be back from his ACL injury. So you've got some depth there. I know I'm assuming Kool-Aid McKinsey is a cornerback. I'd rather go safety or linebacker. I think there's still some potential in the cornerback room with the right defensive coordinator, with the right linebackers and safeties around them. I'm good with what we've got at cornerback if the rest of the defense gets fixed.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Now, to close off the show, it's my favorite segment on this show, and that's 3 words or less. So describe this Eagles team in 3 words or less.
You didn't tell me this before the show, man. We're winging this here. Hold on.
That's why I do that every time. For me, I got mine right.
Here it is.
Go for it.
I am concerned.
I have no freaking clue.
That was 5 words, Mitch. I have no freaking clue. That was 5 words.
All right.
No. You can't set the rules of your own segment and then break the rules.
Hey, that's payback. I got you this morning. You got me now. So it's no freaking clue.
Right,
there you go.
Freaking clue. I am scared. I am concerned.
Hey, it's something. And then for the chat, I love to hear your 3 words. Big Liars Club. That's a good one.
I mean, we used to do this game. So let me backtrack. I used to work on a cruise ship as an entertainer way back in the day, back in the early 2000s. Host karaoke, teach line dancing, different things. And we used to play. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Liars Club. It's a game where 3 or 4 people stand up, you all say something, and the crowd's got to determine who's telling the truth or who's not. And I used to love it. But Howie Roseman would be perfect at the Liars Club because you just never know what he's saying, if it's the truth or not. Like he looks believable every time he says everything.
Yeah, it could be frauds or
I like it,
Eagles
Adam.
are frauds. I like that.
I'm writing this down because we're playing the 3-word game tomorrow morning.
Go for it. I'll be in the chat. I'll be in the chat, man.
We're playing the 3-word game tomorrow.
Hey,
You
do
know,
it. I'll be in the chat
on the morning show and how active it is. The 3-word game. We're getting involved in the 3-word game tomorrow morning.
Hey, I love it. I love it. You better give me credit though. I'll be in the chat.
I will give Mitchy Poo some credit tomorrow morning.
Okay, about Mitchy Poo, I'm getting comments on my TikToks. I'm getting everything Mitchy Poo.
Mitchy Poo. Only Phillies fans get that one.
Yeah. I didn't even see that guy play.
You're too young for Mitchy Poo.
I'm 29.
Dude,
Great
I was
show.
a
Hey, that is
teenager
sweet.
already when Mitchy Poo was blowing the World Series. So,
Hey.
I was already. I'm an old man. Sorry,
Yeah. Well, Adam had 3 words. Great show, guys. That is 3 words.
Adam's my man. I love Adam.
Hey,
Muchas gracias, Adam.
Hey, appreciate you coming on, man. You and I have been trying to hook something up. We finally did it. So here's your time for your plugs, man.
Yeah, trending in the AM every morning, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday on the Philadelphia Sports Network or my own YouTube page, Trending in the AM. We talk all things sports, all things news, all things going on that are trending in the AM. And the tagline of the show is very simple, where your opinions actually matter. Because my opinions matter when I'm a guest like this on a show like this. But in the morning, my opinions are meaningless. It's all about talking about your opinions on the trending topics here in Philadelphia. And that's all I got.
Okay, really, Spongy? Wow.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one, man. I'll give you
I
that
also
one.
said this morning I'm never wrong. So and Mitchy Poo didn't let me go on that one.
I was just like, wait, what? I know it's early, but I just heard something. But
the morning it's tough, man. I gotta get my coffee in before I start messing up. And this morning was one of those mornings I didn't have much coffee in my system. So,
I don't drink coffee, so it's just I'm up.
I hate
that's
coffee.
It.
I hate the taste of coffee, but I need the caffeine. So at nighttime shows, it's bourbon or whiskey. In the morning, it's coffee.
So you don't like bourbon?
I'm sorry, I love my bourbon.
Okay, you love bourbon, but you hate coffee.
Well, my bourbon's empty right now, so that's how we know the show is over. When I do a guest appearance at night, I didn't tell you this before the show. You get my time till my drink is empty.
That is great. That is great. Hey, shout out to Phil, man. Shout out to the Philly Sports Network. Great stuff over there. Liam's killing it over there. Great guys, great writers. Really appreciate your work over there. But make sure you subscribe to the channel, Edge of Philly Sports. We're on the road to 12,000. So please hit that like, subscribe. Check out our website and audio platforms. Appreciate everybody. And you know what we say as Eagles fans right now. Eagles, what are you doing? What are you doing, Eagles? And we're out.